Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, October 10th. So the moon is going to be in Sagittarius all day, really helping us to think bright, to think big, to think positive. We are definitely on a little bit of a different energy trip. We are bossing ourselves up. We are trying to be hopeful. We are trying to renew our faith and confidence, not only within ourselves, but in the greater, grander plan that we know that the universe has for us. We have 12 different aspects taking place today. 10 of them involve the moon, and we are just days away from the first quarter moon in Capricorn energy, which means that we're seeing the light in the sky. We're seeing the possibilities take form off in the horizon, and we are prepared to go ahead and make some moves, take some actions that will definitely put us on a different playing field to see where it is that we're actually productive, making some progress in our new path, in our new chapter. We have the moon making an aspect with Pluto right out of the gate. And of course, Pluto wants us to boss up and transform in a way that we will never go back to the victim mentality that we just came out of after the last 4 or 5 months of sitting in the shadows and sitting in the darkness. The moon in Sag, of course, wants to fire us up and make us really focus on the silver linings of some of the pain and struggle that we've gone through. And this little bump into Pluto, who is now direct in Capricorn, is saying, okay, where can I actively take an action in my life right now to build a new routine, to build a new system, to build a new relationship, to build a new foundation that is going to be better aligned with the habits and routines that I have to adopt in order to actually get to where it is that I'm going. Many of us have a big, great, grand plan in our head, but fail breaking that big plan down into bite-sized pieces that are actually manageable, that we can actually do something with. This particular energy is restoring our faith, restoring our confidence, restoring our power and control back, especially over our emotions. And this, I think, is going to set us up for a very interesting day. Now, the moon is going to trine Chiron. This isn't a bad thing. This is like an aha learning moment. We see, because we have sat in the darkness, sat in the shadow, really explored where it is that our triggers are still alive and well, where it is that we still have to heal a couple of things about our inner workings. And right now, the moon in Sagittarius really wanting us to focus on the future and think about all the bright possibilities that we didn't think were even possible just a week ago, is now really aligning with Chiron and saying, I really have made some progress, haven't I? I really did have a good awareness about that, didn't I? I really do feel that I am able to actually inspire myself, align with new ideas, and have the confidence that I need to actually do something about the circumstances in my life. The moon goes ahead and bumps into Jupiter, and Jupiter rules over Sagittarian energy. Jupiter wants us to grow. He wants us to expand. He wants us to step outside of our comfort zones to actually see what is possible. This is definitely going to amp us up, make us more positive than we ever have been, but it could put us in a situation where we're dreaming too big of a dream, where we're biting off way more than we could chew. When the head pressure and the heart space pressure becomes a little bit too overwhelming, and where it is that we're going to have to actively take actions and make efforts to ground ourselves in the present moment instead of losing ourselves in the future possibilities. The moon goes ahead and bumps into Uranus. Uranus, again, is the great awakener, but this is likely going to be an outside trigger that shifts our perspectives on what is actually possible. Now, the outside trigger could come from a situation not happening the way that you wanted it to, could come from a person saying something that really disrupts your thoughts and feelings. It's an outside factor that just comes out of the blue. That Uranian energy is a wild card energy. It can come out of the woodworks. We don't anticipate it coming, but it shakes us up in a way that actually might disrupt us and put us in a state of chaos. But it also puts us in a situation where we have to recontemplate what it is that we're actually doing, what it is we actually need. This is likely going to be a trigger that comes from a relationship issue because The Uranian energy is retrograde in Taurus right now, really shaking up the foundations of our personal interactions, of our values, of our worth, of our money matters, of our resources. That's why I say it's likely a trigger coming from an outside, external validation point that's really going to upset us, but of course upset us in a way that is a learning moment. Like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that I felt so freaking out of control. And now I'm going to have to put the pieces back together in a better way in order to get a grip. We get a little bit of help here because the sun in Libra very much trying to help us balance things out to see where it is that we need to kind of stop living in extremes in order to make a difference to our future selves. The sun goes ahead and bumps into the true node. The true node is trying to show us the dream, the goal, the vision, the path that we have to be on in order to actually manifest these big ideas that we're having. And the sun at this particular point is kind of showing us where it is that maybe our dream and our vision is a little bit too out of the realm of possibilities for right now. Again, we have to break things down in bite-sized pieces instead of just having a great grand vision and being overwhelmed of like, oh my goodness, how is that ever going to happen? How am I ever going to get there? Instead, we need to kind of tone it down a bit and break it down into smaller pieces that we can actually be productive in seeing come into fruition. So this little shakeup is just kind of like, okay, so I have to rework a couple of things. Not that I'm giving up my dream and my vision, but like if it's going to take me 5 years to get to that grand vision, what can I accomplish in 2 years? What can I accomplish in 1 year? And then what can I accomplish today that would signify and signal to the universe that I am 100% ready, willing, and prepared to do what it takes to align me to this path to my ultimate dream and ultimate goal. Now we get a lot of good vibes happening here because the moon in Sag is making some very favorable aspects with first Mercury, who is retrograde in Libra, then Mars, who is in Libra, then the sun, who is in Libra. So what does this say? Well, we have to consider the fact that we've been kind of living in the lower vibrational frequencies, right? It's been a struggle. It's been tough. We have had life just come at us in all kinds of ugly ways. And for many of us, we've been just trying to fake it until we make it. And some of us aren't even good at doing that. So now the moon in Sag, this is the universe's way of saying, okay, now we need to take you from that extreme. We have to throw you all the way in an opposite direction in order for you to see that we have to get out of this vibration. We have to go into another extreme vibration, and then you can come back down to earth a little bit and find a different level playing field. So the moon bumps into Mercury. This totally just puts us in a more positive mind frame, puts us in an opportune position to speak our truth that we haven't been so sure of speaking, puts us in a position to really do what is right in order to vocalize and validate for ourselves what it is that we're thinking, what it is that we're feeling. Then the moon bumping into Mars gives us the bravery, the courage, the boldness that we need in order to make a move in our lives. We're feeling good. We're feeling excited. Maybe we're going to put ourselves out there. Maybe we're going to speak our truth and put ourselves out there. Maybe we're going to take action in our physical realms and switch things up in order to align to this new vision that we know we want, that we just have to make into a little bit more manageable bite-sized pieces and tasks and chores in order for us to actually put these pieces together and see the grand picture that we envision actually take form. And then the moon bumping into the sun, this is like, okay, Nelly, we are definitely deleting those lower vibrational narratives, emotions, and frequencies that we've been all too uncomfortable in sitting in living in. And now we are seeing where it is that maybe we have to give ourselves permission to live in la la land, to bite off more than we can chew, to dream a big, huge dream in order for us to be illuminated to where it is that maybe our 0 point gravity, our balancing point, our grounding point has now changed. And that's what happens when we fluctuate with energies and with frequencies. We go from a very low to a very high. Neither of them are sustainable. So then we do the cha-cha-cha and we find a very comfortable ground for us to actually live in and live on. This is going to be the absolute definite energy that we need because the moon goes ahead and bumps into Uranus. This is like, bam, we see a different perspective. Bam, we have a better narrative. Bam, we're feeling more independent, more rebellious, and being able to stand up against the old attachments, against the old narratives and thoughts and emotions and say, you know what? No more. Thank you for the time. I know my darkest point that I no longer want to return to. I'm just going to shuffle over here and make this my new baseline. The Uranian energy downloads us with a perspective shift, an aha moment, an inspiration, an idea that we can't unknow, that we can't unsee. It connects the dots for us. And this is going to be a very pivotal energy to work with because Saturn goes direct. Now, Saturn, the Lord of Karma, the dark boss himself, has been retrograde since about April-ish, okay? All the major heavy hitting planets, they went retrograde. That's why we have felt paused out, at a standstill, hella confused, hella depressed, hella struggling. That is why we've been in the stage of darkness that we've been in. And now with Saturn going direct, joining Pluto, who is already direct, and soon to have Jupiter and Mercury go direct, this is a boss up move. We are starting to tangibly take action, to make things happen, to build new foundations, to connect with new people, to rebuild our inner narratives, to rebuild our inner emotional states, to boss up and really accept the fact that we sat in the darkness in order for us to learn lessons that we had to learn to prepare us for this particular launching point where we cannot go back. We can only go forward. Now, on the great grand scale of this spiritual war that we're in, this battlefield that we are on, this is likely going to be a green light go for many of us in a lot of ways to actually see the pieces of our dreams, of our visions actually start to manifest. This is a boss up energy. We are moving on to the next level. We have upgraded. We have passed with flying colors. Now we have an opportunity to show the universe, not only can we talk the talk, but now we can walk the walk. We are in alignment. We are in alignment with knowing what it is we no longer want to be living in. And from that, we get motivated to make some changes, to take some action, make some moves that will free us from some of these old restrictions that we've just been banging our head off a wall for far too long. The moon goes ahead and squares Neptune. Now, let me tell you, square is not the most favorable aspect that we could be living in right now. We've had pretty much a very good day, to be honest with you. The moon squaring Neptune, though, although it is a tension point, isn't necessarily a bad energy. It just kind of, it brings us down just a notch. Because we got a little bit flying too high, right? The ceiling of extreme that we just went to from such the dark days of the past, weeks and months, we hit such a high ceiling that we know it's damn near manic. Like we can't sustain this. And so the moon kind of gets overwhelmed. And Neptune, of course, is our higher selves. It's intuition, it's healing, but it's also the escape artist of the whole planetary system, being in Pisces, the escape artist of the zodiac. We just, at this point, we're so overwhelmed that we just want to escape it all because we can't do as much as we want to see done now. We have to be a little bit more patient. And Sagittarius energy, not patient at all, right? It's a fire sign, fire energy. Just wants to light a fire up in their ass and just wing it and fly by the seat of our pants and see what happens. And we're still not quite in a good energy to have all green lights go. We just got a huge indicator from Saturn that we're okay to actually take a step forward now. But we still have a couple of other planets that need to go direct before we're going to get the universal green light go. So we end the day off with Saturn's very first aspect in a direct position with the moon making a semi-square with Saturn. And this is kind of like pump the brakes. Like the moon in Sag is just like ready to go, ready to take on life, ready to jump into something new, ready to be excited again, ready to be passionate again. And the Lord of Karma is just like, damn, girl, I just woke up. I've been asleep for 4 months. Can you just give me some time? I have to get my bearings here. I know you're anxious. I know you're excited, but my goodness, I haven't even had my universal coffee yet. Give a guy a break. So like I said, the Lord of Karma, he's very calm, cool, collected. He's just waking up. He's just trying to piece together what needs to happen from here. And the energy, the intensity from this moon in Sag is just a tad bit overwhelming for him. So we are going to end the day off on a little bit of a frustrated note because, again, we have all the get up and go going inside of us, but our physical realms are just pumping the brakes like, whoa, not yet. Let's take a step back. Let's plan. Let's prepare. Let's give old Saturn time to wake up before we go ahead and start blazing new paths forward.